доводим до сведения студентов, что экзамен, который у вас вот должен быть весной, он идет по линии, скажем так, учебный офис этим руководит. Поэтому, ну, как департамент, этот процесс не регулируем. Михаил, good morning. Вот. Но, скорее всего, это в прошлом году перенесли. Ну, может быть, конец марта, апрель, вот такие вот даты. Поэтому я вас прошу следить за тем, что приходит из учебного офиса информации, да? К сожалению, больше ничего сказать не могу. И даже про формат. So, how many students are present? 7 of you. Okay, I think we'll get started because the majority of students have come. If you have no further questions, but maybe you have them, Nikolai, no? No questions?
Not really.
Not really good. So, the theme of migration seems to be interesting and, let's say, multifaceted, многогранный. To warm up, I'll show you something interesting, which seems to be, Victoria, good morning, Victoria Yunusova. So I have found interesting images, pictures. I think they will be of interest to you. It's just to warm up and to show how differently people can accept this process, if it's possible to say, to denote it as a process. So one moment, and I'll find the file I have prepared for you. I have sent it to you, by the way, via email, but still, to attract your attention, it's devoted to xenophobia. Xenophobia, а там, значит, читается ксенофобия, так читается, да? It's xenophobia. It's not the whole manual or guide, but only part of it, as far as you can see, it's page number 61. But it's devoted to xenophobia. Having gone through different stages, you can see the stages, the steps of this phenomenon. Yes, so, and that's not all. And the material which is collected here seems to be really interesting and attractive, which can maybe destroy people's views on democracy in some well-developed countries, their previous dreams or imaginary ideas. And numerous citations, quotes given here prove it and reveal the sense of American intolerance, indeed intolerance. So it's the information I won't focus on. I'll just show you some pictures supplied with some comments. And for instance, whereas it's not quite understandable, though you can read it, but it's a kind of citizenship, the way citizenship might have been understood many years ago, or it's a dialogue between two migrants. So Uncle Sam's lodging house. Uncle Sam, it's figurative name for American people, an American person. And speaking to an Irish person, migrant, by the way, many Irish people used to migrate to the United States. It was a historical process for many reasons. And look here, everybody else is quiet and peaceable, and you are all the time kicking up a row. Рау, да, рау даже это скандал, потому что это не ряд, хотя тут у нас есть ряды, может казаться. Послушай, да, ты, тут все тихие, мирные, а ты вечно что-то тут вот устраиваешь какие-то, громыхаешь. Ну, вот что-то в этом духе, да. Вообще, Рау, это скандал, а из-за тебя вечно какой-то грохот. So, it's a kind of, I don't know, maybe the way of how to show the life conditions of people who used to migrate to the United States. You can observe them a bit later all by yourselves, or these kinds of images also explaining something maybe. Special attention is given to the attitude to Chinese people, and that's, I think, understandable. It says what it means. The remedy too late, showing that Chinese people tried to migrate to the United States, to immigrate, but unsuccessfully, unlike other people. And there are many explanations of explanations concerning why unsuccessfully, as they couldn't accept American customs, so habits and so on. Concerning, you can see, you can read this information, Chinese exclusion, то есть как бы неприятие, будем так говорить, если очень образно, да, it's how impossible it was for Chinese people to not only get their citizenship, but also to get adapted, to get accustomed to the American environment. And numerous quotes, so citations, quotes, ну какие-то цитаты, да, и даже выдержки, вот буквальные цитаты здесь даны. And look, the way people used to live in comparison with an American person. So that's a comparison. Why the Chinese can live on 40 cents a day, and the American can't. То есть как вот на 40 центов могут прожить китайцы, да, а как? И вот it's comparatively speaking. So I think it'll be of interest to you, and as I have sent it to you, it's very, very valuable material devoted to migration, and we can drop a look at this process from, I don't know, another side. There are many sides of points of view. Not only Chinese or Japanese called Japs. Japs, по-моему, позже будет, да? So also having gone through many problems, and you can see Uncle Sam reading The Country of Trailers. Так, traitors плохо видно, including an Irish radical, a communist, and German money. So that is why a very, very, I would say, cruel attitude to both people, and not only people, but also including their financial systems. То есть не только к людям отношение пренебрежительное, но и, скажем, к финансовой системе. So, and observe them, and you will enjoy these. Yes, that's I wanted to say what I wanted to say to you, to show you. That is, slap a jab. Slap a jab, ну, извините, шлепните японца, да, скажем так. Slap a jab club. And also a kind of quote, a jab is a jab. То есть японец – это японец. Япошка, вот если мы перейдем на русский язык, извините, да, скажем, япошка есть япошка. И нет никакой разницы, да, американский ли он гражданин или нет. Я не хочу, чтобы они здесь кто-то был из них. То есть не хочу их присутствие, добавить русские слова. Они опасный элемент. Лояльны ли они или нет? Вот, пожалуйста, да. So that's what period is it? It's far from being the beginning of the 18th century or 19th century. It's during the Second World War. It's understandable, but at the same time, not far away. So many other ideas can be observed by you. So it's also about surname jabs. It's not only an ironical word, but also a very, very abusive language. Stamping out, то есть, ну, раздавить их буквально, да, you and I. Вот. So, the comparison with a snake. Not a very pleasant one. And all of them, welcome to America now, speak English. So, doesn't seem to be democratic organ. No illegals and other things you can observe here. And the last picture, though it's only one of pages, everything I never needed to know about Islam, I learned on the 11th of September. You remember that day. So it's something to warm up, and it's worth the whole discussion, and it contains valuable information. I mean, this guide being supplied with pictures. It's something for a change. And now, what are we going to do now? Today, certainly, part of our lesson will be devoted to our speaking process, because practice shows that not much, not enough time is given to our speaking process. That is why a question to you. Are you ready to reproduce your situations devoted to the immigration process, the interviews? Nikolai, I'll begin with you. Are you ready?
I think yes.
Yes. So, Sophia, I think all of you. Yes? All of you.
Yay!
София, not?
Меня снова не слышно.
Нет, я имею в виду, вот задание было дано, да, составить там диалоги или что у вас получилось. So the fact is,
Да, мы готовы.
yeah, I have written about it, I have written to Nikolai, because there should be a kind of a sense of humor. With a sense of humor, that's an approach which can be applied to our dialogues, because кросс-интервью, такое перекрестное интервью, with the aim of revealing whether people are sincere or not. It's we are going to do today. But firstly, I suppose that some other speaking procedure should be implemented. That is, will hopefully the student is ready. We'll ask student Joseph, if I'm not mistaken, Joseph, you are going to speak about a country where people might migrate. Yes, Joseph, am I right?
I will speak about history of migration and about migration.
Yes. Yes. Could you please, so that we could have some background information, it has been an individual task to Joseph, I have asked you, as from time to time you will have to present some information. That's why it will be a kind of preliminary conversation which will be followed by your interviews. So, Joseph, where are all ears? If you have any pictures, you can show them. If not,
No, I don't have pictures. I will.
don't need. Mm-hmm.
So today I want to tell you about migration and immigration processes. But first of all, we should give a definition of these meanings. Migration is a movement of people from one area to another. What do we understand when saying immigrants and immigrants? Let me explain this one on one simple example. In 1970, many people who lived in USSR decided to go to the United States of America. For the Soviet Union, they were immigrants because they left their country. For the USA, immigrants. So when people began migrating, the answer is amazing. Nobody knows. Turning to history, we can find the evidences that in ancient Egypt, people had to migrate due to weather conditions. They came to Europe, then when ships were built to North and South America, North and South America were conquered. What are the reasons of migrants to leave their land? There are many of them. For example, wars, weather, economic and political situations, or diseases. We can remember that in the Middle Ages, the plague forced people to leave their homes and to live at a distance from each other. But in my opinion, the most interesting centuries in this topic are the 20th and the 21st century. Many technical breakthroughs were made in the last 100 years. So people came to the idea that they can get any place on earth. But not everybody wants to leave his or her motherland. So the concept of urbanization became bigger and bigger. Urbanization is migration of people from rural areas to large cities and megapolises. According to the World Bank data, more than 3 billion people live nowadays in large cities. Their ancestors came mostly from the rural areas in the second half of 20th century. So what are the reasons of this phenomenon? People who were born in small towns wanted to get a prestigious education, good career, and this can megapolises offer. This process makes a big impact on all spheres of everyday life because anthropogenic factors have a huge influence has a huge influence. So the scientists, urbanists think that how to make life comfortable in big cities where millions of people live. The second case that I want to tell is migration of Arabians. This migration began in 2010. The reason is an event that is called in history Arabic Spring. In 1 year, in some Arabic countries that are located in North Africa and nearest Asia, revolutions happened. There were many armed clashes, what is undoubtedly dangerous for many people. So they decided to go to Europe and live there. This type of migrants we can call refugees. Many of them live in well-developed countries such as Germany, France, Great Britain, Norway, and Sweden. I think this migration has a significant role and has a significant impact in our century because there are many controversial opinions about this topic. First is that the European Union should help people who are in difficult life situation, but citizens of these countries where migrants come do not understand why they should pay taxes which are going for help for these migrants, because most of migrants do not work and get unemployment benefits. So it's so it is a very controversial topic. In the end of my report, let me tell you one interesting fact about migration. In Mongolia, there is no cities like we understand it. The Mongolians live in yurts and once in a year or half a year change their location. 10,000 people together take their homes and go somewhere else. So it's a good challenge for Google Maps to find the new cities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. But what I have been missing, that is the presence of your video, of your face. I don't know why, but I can see only Nick. So, it's good, but not enough, so that we could have a sense of belonging. I wish you could have shown your face while speaking. So thank you. It has been informative. I suppose that the students can share this opinion. Informative, that is not watery. Watery такой бывает. Вроде много сказано, а очень водянисто, как мы говорим, вода. But as for your report, as you have called it, it has been a report. I can fully agree with this. It has been informative. So some remarks, and before I make some comments, I should say that on Thursday we'll try to focus on grammar while speaking about migration. Undoubtedly, not only migration, but discussing different topics, we encounter different grammatical issues. That is why on Thursday we'll try to focus on some of them. First of all, out of what Joseph has said, though all has been understandable, and it's the fact that there haven't been any bad mistakes. Bad mistake – это не плохая ошибка, а грубая ошибка. It's a mistake, I have said it many times, which can lead to misunderstanding when your interlocutor, conversationalist, собеседник, cannot understand you, cannot perceive or grasp your information. Firstly, but some blemishes, which I should focus on. Да? Вы не обидитесь, Джозеф, потому что, конечно, студенты...
Нет, конечно, я буду рад, наоборот.
It's good that you have spoken, because we have a chance of discussing not abstract things while doing abstract exercises, but whatever has just been said. The first one concerns the country, which doesn't exist anymore, but factually, but indeed it exists. I mean, from the geographical point of view, that's the former СССР, да, and the USSR, да, и мы с вами здесь таким образом рассуждаем. Если речь идет о стране, в состав которой входит последнее слово именно нарицательное, то это существительное, группа существительного, коллокация получает определенный артикль. Отсюда the USSR, да, Джозеф? Ну, это так, вы вспомнили. И смотрите, the USA, the United Kingdom. Это все подчиняется грамматическому правилу. Okay? So, now, еще, это касается всех, мы просто с вами какие-то плоды пожинаем, какие-то выводы. The following thing concerns, и я еще раз это вам, ребята, напоминаю, распространенное очень слово. Это reason. A reason for. A reason for. И вот тут мы наблюдаем так называемую интерференцию. Interference. Это понятие лингвистическое. It means an influence of one language on another language. Здесь я говорю on, потому что influence у меня является существительным. Влияние одного языка на другой язык. Поэтому причина кого-то, да, чего-то, это идет родительный падеж, передаваемый, конечно, of. очень часто в английском языке. Но мы с вами, я просто объясняю это нормально. It's a fossilized mistake, мы об этом уже много говорили. Don't forget. Еще один нюанс, на который обращаю внимание. Джозеф, вы не обижайтесь, нет, потому что иногда студент говорит, ну что вот вы обсуждаете, я никого не хочу обидеть. Джозеф, нормально все, да?
Нет, я наоборот за
Да,
то,
да,
что...
да, потому что мы с вами должны вот это обязательно заниматься этим. Вот теперь смотрите, когда мы говорим everybody knows, и смотрите, наверняка вы в школе еще учили everybody knows it, don't they, правда? Это у
Да,
нас
так и есть.
исключение. Ну, вот англичане хитро говорят nobody knows why, но это не совсем здесь так вот их объяснение подходит. Тем не менее, под everybody мы имеем в виду they. Отсюда в вашем предложении, там было everybody, я не успела записать, но their, предположим, attitude, когда мы это относим к everybody, мы, соответственно, не только в question tag, это хвостик и вопросе отражаем, но и everybody knows him, and they think that he и так далее, да? То есть everybody заменяется у нас their, they, ну и действительно, согласитесь, это так, потому что среди everybody будет и он, и она, но мы здесь уже их, скажем так, не ранжируем, да? So, what else, what else? И еще обращение, когда вы говорите, обращайте внимание на такие глаголы, как say, tell, speak. Вот у нас была фраза, буквально, ну, да, я чуть-чуть просто записала. The second case I want to speak about, I want to say, но не tell. Tell можно, но когда идет последующее about, да? The second case I want to focus on. The second case I want to discuss with you. Но tell мы можем взять, и потом идет у нас, потому что здесь все-таки, наверное, хорошо, когда идет I want to tell you this story, то есть когда у нас стоит глагол tell впереди дополнение. I want to tell you a story, да? А вот the second case I want to tell you все-таки увязывается с предлогом about. Вы меня понимаете, да? Чего-то нам не хватает здесь. Вот немножко куцевато выглядит, хотя мы говорим I want to tell you a story. Понятно это, да?
Да,
И последнее, да, и последнее, это касается организации. So, international organizations, as a rule, they are used with the definite article, including the European Union, the United Nations Organization. И as a rule, вот экономисты сейчас 4-й курс тоже пишут, там и логисты и прочее, прочее. И, как правило, вот как не обращаться к словарю, as a rule, international organizations are supplied with a definite article. Ну, вот это такие некоторые моменты. Out of what you have said, there's a conclusion we can make, apart from others, that is that a new trend, I think, contemporary trend can be traced out of what you have said. That is a converse, an opposite trend, moving from urban areas to rural areas, in my opinion. So, and especially if we are involved in internal migration, we can speak about the opposite trend. When people are, I think, possessed, как это сказать, possessed, по-русски-то как это сказать, не просто охвачены идеей, not only overwhelmed, but also possessed with this idea of coming back to rural areas for not only the pandemic's reasons, but or epidemiological reasons, but also for others. So think of St. Petersburg, and where people try to leave the city, going to town, to the country. it's a new trend in comparison with what you have said. That's why...
It's like suburbanization.
Да, я поняла ваш. Просто у меня такая вот мысль возникла, что насколько поменялось время. How quickly trends can be interchanged взаимозаменяемыми. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. We have the other students who has to speak, but it will be later. In case we don't manage to listen to our student, then it will be either towards the end of our lesson, or maybe next time. But I hope soon we'll manage to do it, because I have planned some listening activities, but we'll see. We shall see what we shall see. Now, to further our process, what about the whole situation? Firstly, I would like to let me open the worksheet so that it could be at your fingerprints. One moment. That's what we are going to focus on. Can you see it? No, I think you have it
Yes,
in
we
front of
can.
you. Okay. Firstly, we would like to hear some explanation. What's the idea? What's the main? What lies behind this particular situation? So the green card. So what's the problem, and what does it stem from? So, Nick, can you explain it in a nutshell? The fact you are going to maybe incorporate in your dialogues.
So, one, as I have understood, hungry girl wants to get a green card, a card which
Hungarian, maybe Hungarian.
Hungarian,
Hungry это у нас голодная, да?
sorry, Hungarian girl
Ничего страшного.
wants to get a green card. So it's the card which gives you an ability to live and work in the USA legally, and following this purpose, she, I know, she asks some American guy to marry her, so she could get this card because she will be officially the wife of the American citizen. Something
Okay.
like that.
In a nutshell, everyone I think is aware of this particular thing. It's often the case, by the way, throughout the world. It's as old as the hills. It has happened, I think, marriages of convenience. Marriage of convenience, это, ну, как вам сказать, по расчету, что ли, да, получается, have happened and will happen throughout the history of mankind for many reasons, unfortunately. So, which can destroy many lives meanwhile. And how will we organize this? I think there will be some situations to prove whether two people are not lying. So, то есть цель какова? There's a conversation between three people, but as far as you understand, two of them cannot or should not know what each of them has answered, having been asked this or that question. But as it's a cross-interview, такое перекрестное интервью, they're not aware of what ideas have been mentioned, which of them not by the other person told them. And the third party это еще и сторона, да, не только part часть. The third party here is an immigration officer. Look how serious he is. So, and in this situation, he seems to be a judge. Whether to believe or not believe. How many groups? I haven't got a list of names. That's why, Sophia, as I can see your name here on the screen, Sophia Tarasova, whom are you going to speak about? Давайте, может, ускорить наш процесс.
Yes, I'm in a group with Коля and Misha.
Colin and Misha. Okay, how very interesting. And I expected you. It's also possible. Let it be so. Okay. Where are Liz? We'll get started, Liz. Just an exchange of opinions.
Started our conversation.
Yes, Misha, I believe you should ask me.
Yes, okay.
Firstly.
I'm immigration officer, and I started from Kole. Okay, Kole. I wanted to know for beginning when, where, and how did you meet with your wife? Maybe wife.
I like that maybe. So we met at the bar last summer in California. It was a very pleasant evening. So.
Okay. And did you remember who made the first move?
Well. Так, сейчас, секунду. У нас просто история построена последовательно по вопросам.
А я должен обязательно все вопросы задать? Я думал, выборочно.
Я думаю, лучше да, так будет логичнее.
Одну секунду,
Ладно.
Наша с вами цель не устроить настоящий такой доспрос, а просто говорение, да? That's why whatever you say seems to be welcome. Okay? Вот все, что вы не скажете, хорошо, лишь бы вы говорили. That's our aim. Speaking. So,
Okay.
Да, но ведь смысл в чем?
Конечно, оно должно иметь смысл.
Вопросы мне и Коле, чтобы убедиться, что мы говорим правду.
Yeah.
Ну как?
It depends on you. I won't interfere. Okay.
Misha, just ask
Okay.
Sophia the second question. Okay.
I ask Sophia now. Okay. Sophia, how was your first meeting?
So it was a little bit strange. He sat down at my table and offered to meet, but I had been already drunk, and I was rude to him. However, he called a taxi for me.
Okay. So, Kola, what did you have in common?
Well, we were both very hard working persons, and we both were very speaking fond of whiskey and stupid jokes.
Okay.
That's it.
София.
Извините, пожалуйста, вот тут есть такой вопрос, может быть, я туда чуть-чуть. Who prepares to whom? Вот здесь вот who prepares to whom, это имеется в виду, кто кому сделал предложение.
Да.
То есть вы поняли это, да? Предложение пожениться. Вот это вот, может быть, I'm sorry. Okay?
Yeah.
The microphone. Okay, Sophia, did you remember who made the first move? No. Okay.
As has been said, he took the first steps. After meeting at the bar, he also texted me the number I gave him.
Okay. Ola, what jobs did the two of you have at the time?
Well, as I can remember, I worked as a financial analyst, and she worked as a chief economist in a big international company. Unfortunately, I don't remember the company's name, but something like that.
Okay. Sophia, Sophia, sorry. Who proposed to whom?
They are traditional in this regard, so he proposed to me.
He proposed. Okay.
Yeah.
Kola, where did you go on your honeymoon?
Well, it's a very good question. There was a wonderful trip. We traveled to Maldives, where we rent a very luxury villa.
By the sea.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Sophia, what is the most annoying habit of your spouse?
He's always tidying up our apartment in his way, so I can't find anything. It's annoying.
Okay. And Kola, last question for you. Where and how did you celebrate your first wedding anniversary?
Well, we had a trip around Europe and did sightseeing a lot. We visited London, Paris, Madrid, and many other cities. It was very, I know, interesting and exciting travel.
Okay.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable, yeah.
And Sophia, for you, last question. What gift did you get from your husband?
I don't remember, but maybe it was a bright yellow parrot. He thinks very beautiful.
And
What
the
he
villa
died.
by the sea. And the villa by the sea. So, as far as I understand, that's all. Yes. Maybe any conclusions you have made? Though we are not asked, so that's all I have found. I haven't found task two, unfortunately. But Misha, maybe you have made any conclusions?
I don't believe them.
Sure.
I think I thought that we make other other idea what I will be ask Sophia and Kola the same question and will be compare their answer. И тогда бы я смог как бы понять, правда это или
Ну,
нет.
process with data. Process with data, обрабатывать данные, да?
Yes.
Process — это, ну, скажем так, word process — обрабатывать какие-то слова, process data — обрабатывать данные, and make conclusions later, infer, make inferences later. But they don't seem to have any vested interests. Vested пишется с буквой V, vested, ну, так же, как Запад. Vested interest — это какие-то такие шкурные интересы личные, да. They seem to be sincere and without any vested interest. Thank you very much. So, and we'll move on to our further students. Так, who else? Юношева Виктория, whom I
Yeah, we are ready too, but Nick should help us. He should be the immigrant officer because it's pleasure for it's pleasure for us. Okay, and for him too.
We haven't got any explanations. We'll just listen to your answers. Okay.
But where is my colleague? Where is my wife? My dear, where are you? My pagan, where are you?
I'm here.
Ladislav. Oh, my dear. That's all will be all right. Don't worry. We will be together forever soon, my dear. Okay, where are you? Yeah, dear. Do you see me? I love you. Okay. Are you ready, my dear?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. We are ready, the officer.
Okay, whom should I ask firstly? Or
As you wish.
okay, I don't know. Victoria.
I'm not Victoria.
Well, who are you?
I'm a lovely husband.
Okay.
Mr. Smith. Okay.
Mr. Smith.
Why, Mr.? Miss, maybe, Mrs.
I'm a husband. I'm her husband. I'm the husband of this beautiful woman.
Okay. A person in a red shirt.
Yes.
When, where, and how did you meet? Can you remember?
Oh, you know, it's my best and favorite story. We met approximately 2 years ago in June in New York, near a college where I'm husband. Yeah, where a college where I was studying at that time. In a cafe near it, yeah.
Okay. So, how was your first meeting? What was it like?
Well, I ordered soup. It was a lunch time. I ordered a soup. She was an officer there in that cafe. I ordered a soup and a chicken with vegetables. But she was so but she misunderstood me, maybe because she was from Hungary, and she take an order and brought me not chicken but indie, and she was so confused about that. She was very sorry, and at the end of the lunch I asked her to have a break after her work in this cafe, and it was our first meet.
A very interesting story. Very uncommon
I know.
story.
I know.
So, Vladislava, what do you have in common with a person in a red T-shirt?
Oh, you know, we have a lot in common. We both love history and literature. Both graduated from history faculty and also love drink coffee, eat some sweets, and drink alcohol in different pubs.
Okay, so in that case, who made the first move? Alcohol?
No, I think I'm a little bit timid, hence he had to make the first move. So he called me on a date and was the initiator of a joint trip to Paris.
Wonderful. Hmm. By the way, can you remember um, what job uh, was he onto the, the time?
He was studying and he had no time to work, but I worked as a waitress.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. So, a person in a red shirt, who proposed to whom? You to her or she to you?
As a gentleman, I proposed to her because I fell in love at the first glance to my future wife. She was so beautiful, and the dress of a waiter.
Okay. Um, well, in that case, where did you go on your honeymoon?
Oh, in our first honeymoon, we went to Paris, and it was fantastic. Um, we were working there, we were playing there, and we were drinking in Paris, and we were funny. It was so great honeymoon.
Okay. Fortunately, you can remember something after that honeymoon. Okay. uh, so, mm, Vladislava, what is the most annoying habit uh, of your husband?
Well, he always sings in the shower. He's good, but I prefer silence. Also, it's just weird. It is beyond my understanding.
Hmm. Okay, so it's not thread shirt. Um, well,
But she always paints her nails in our bedroom. Awful, you know? It's not the worst habit you could imagine.
um, I know the husband. Where and how did you celebrate your first wedding anniversary? In Paris or not?
Fairly speaking, we didn't celebrate our first wedding anniversary in Paris. It was a family anniversary. We ordered our parents from her and from my parts, and we were celebrating this anniversary in New York at the same cafe where we met, and it was okay.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, so, Vladislava, what gift did you get from your husband? A bottle of whiskey or something else?
No, no, no. It was a limited collection of historical works. I love it very much. He is so romantic. He knows me very well.
Okay, so that's it. Personally, I believe that this couple is truly in love, and that wasn't the marriage for the green card. So that's
Mhm.
my verdict.
Thank you very much. So, though our conversations cannot be um, maybe natural enough due to distant, the distant mode of our studying process. In class, I think in the room, it would be much more natural, in my opinion, as some of you might disappear behind the door. So, and it could be more natural. Okay, so let's move on. And the following students who are going to speak, Kate, who whose integration should be presented now.
I am in group with Victoria Grubkova and Valeria. Unfortunately, we had no gentleman that would like to join our group, so we are managing it on our own. So,
Мне вот, чтобы видно было, кто говорит, да, дайте-ка я посмотрю, просто мне не видно всех. Так, who's speaking. Так, это значит у нас... Okay, let's get started. Not to waste our time.
Okay, I will start asking Victoria. So, when, where, and how did you meet?
So firstly, we met about 2 years ago in Hungary. I worked as a guide, and I did excursion of the in the Budapest and in Budapest, yeah. And in the group of people, I saw Mr. Kim, and he was so interested in what I said. So after after the excursion, he went to me and we talked a lot. So we tried to so we exchanged our numbers, and now we're texting.
Telephone numbers, maybe.
Telephone numbers. Yeah, and we're talking. That's it.
Okay. Let's move on to husband. How was your first meeting?
It was without any exaggeration. It was exciting. I can say that it was love probably from the first sight. When I saw my wife, I understood that she's the only one for my life, and this is one of the most like, I don't know, it's one of the most amazing memories in our life, I think.
So, Victoria, what did you have in common?
Okay, so first of all, we both of us like to know more about other cultures of other countries and nations. And second, that we both of us like to take photographs of some interesting places.
You may ask not all the questions, yes? No, choose the most interesting ones, I suppose. Yes, okay, we'll meet some of them.
Okay. The next question for the husband. What jobs did the two of you have at the time?
Well, I had a business and I still have it. That's why I visited Hungary when we first met. It was my business trip, and my husband, my wife is a tour guide.
Victoria, where did you go on your honeymoon?
Okay, on our honeymoon, we went to Korea, to Seoul. So it was very interesting because it was a lot of beautiful places and a lot of interesting people. So we really enjoyed that trip.
Okay, and last question for Mr. Kim. What the most annoying habit of your spouse?
Spouse.
Well, my my wife is a charming woman, but she has one habit that is a little bit annoying when we are going to to have some work, or we are when we are getting some preparations. It takes too much time for her to get ready, and it's just beyond my imagination how much time can be spent for it.
English
just
people
don't get
say
it.
that she's very fussy. Fussy, ну, это, как скажем, в том числе и вот это, да, when something takes very much time for you to do, she's so fussy, and it's very, very characteristic of many women. So, thank you very much, thank you. It's enough to cover as the questions are the same. And what about conclusions?
I
Our
can
final stage.
I can definitely say that they love each other and are happy together, and I confirmed this marriage is real, so I proved the issuance of a green card to them.
Thank you. Don't forget that while asking questions, you can sound differently, in a different way, such as instead of when, where, and how did you meet? Could you tell me where? So when, where, and how you met. В этом случае мы можем уже его сделать не вопросом. Could you tell me вопрос, а вот остальное мы уже переворачиваем в предложение, да? Could you tell me when, where, and how you met? Or you can ask such a question. Your first meeting was unforgettable, wasn't it? Could you explain why? То есть мы можем, да, здесь как бы искусственно поменять вопросы. Your husband proposed to marry, so, or made you a proposal, didn't he? И так далее. Вот можно, да, как-то какие-то сделать видоизменения, метаморфозы. Besides, there's such a form of questions as where do you say you went on your honeymoon? То есть мы два вопроса объединяем. Куда, вы говорите, вы ездили в свое, как по-русски, свадебное путешествие, медовый месяц? Where do you say you went on your honeymoon? Да, видите, два вопроса в одном. Два в одном получается. Звучит так, where did you, or наоборот, where do you say you went on your honeymoon? Thank you very much. And I think someone else is left, not to leave anyone who hasn't spoken yet. Whom have we mentioned? Haven't we mentioned? Кто у нас еще не говорил? Признавайтесь, из присутствующих. Let me see how many you are.
I and Joseph.
So Sophia and Joseph.
May we ask you, Valentina Evgenievna, to be our administration officer because
So
we haven't come to
you mean immigration officer?
Yes.
If you please.
Joseph is a bit shocked that he
If you
become.
please. Как пожелаете. Hello, dear. Could you tell me when? Так, кто у нас тут, да, София? Sophie, could you tell me when, where and how you met with your husband?
I'd like to begin. I met with Joseph when we both were students. As a Hungarian students learning in a good university, I had a possibility to come to Michigan University and spend there a half of the year learning economics. So I decided that it would be a great opportunity for me as a future professional. And I met Joseph there. He was my I was in his group, so we studied together for half of the year.
I have analyzed your documents and have found that you are so different. So that's why such a question arises, Joseph. What might you have in common being so different, Joseph?
As Sophia said, we are group mates, and during the period of university studying, we became friends and have common plans on the future, and we think that it's a good opportunity for us.
Mhm. Despite all other facts, so because I have admitted some questions, I suppose you have been spending a very good time. And where do you say you went on your honeymoon, Sophie?
So I have never been to England. However, I have learned English for a long time, and I asked Joseph to visit some cities there, including London. So we decided to spend this time together, far away from the city center almost the time, and to walk there for 2 weeks, spending our honeymoon and spending this time to each other.
Irrespective of your seemingly nice relations, I can see that something is touching you. That's where I think that something makes you nervous about your husband, Sophia. What is it that annoys you about your husband?
To be honest, he has just one thing that I really hate is like to put things where he want. For me, as a woman and a person who is interested in a clean room or flat, it's another thing. However, despite this, we still have good relationships, and I don't think that there could be something that will make us argue.
Joseph, and your wife has mentioned the fact that you have left her without any gift from you. Is it true?
I think there is a mistake. All dates like New Year, 8th, the International Women Day. I make her gifts, especially on her birthday, and Sophia is an ideal wife. So how can I leave her without any gifts?
So out of what you have said, something seems to be dubious, но сомнительное. I doubt the fact that the woman can't remember her husband's gifts or, I don't know, other presents. That's why it should be verified. I suppose that we'll meet once more to be sure that you haven't lied to me. Okay? So thank you very much. So, and that is where we'll stop. I think everyone has spoken, am I right? Все говорили у нас, да? So, thank you. No, we can see that it's a little bit artificial, I mean, our conversation, but still it should be present so that you could speak being given a definite situation. Так, we'll stop our demonstration. And that is where, так, we have 10 minutes left. And now, I'd like you to open one worksheet. It's in your, так, your, может быть, я вам ту послала? Если посмотрю. That's this one. This one. It's called Migration Labeling Diagrams. You have found this. So, as Sophia has something to speak about, I'll just show that what Sophie is going to speak about is closely related to the information we are going to listen, maybe to examine now. We'll only begin this process and we'll continue it later as to won't be enough time for listening to all the exercises. Have a look at exercise number five. And while discussing the information, we can organize this information visually. And in this way, it will become more understandable, not vague, but explicit enough. Here below, you can see the process of adapting to new cultures. And you ask to study the diagram and think about the order in which the information might be presented in a recording which is further on. But still, as Sophia hasn't spoken yet, what she's going to speak about has been already mentioned, but still concerns pull and push factors of migration. Sophia, can you speak about this?
Yes, okay.
And I suppose that what she will imply will be closely related to both external factors, internal factors of migration. So that's why, to be ready to do this exercise, we listen to Sophia yet. I have shown you what will be our next step towards the migrational process. So, Sophia, where all is? Мы все
Okay.
превратили слух.
As Joseph has already said, never before have there been so many people living far away from their native countries. Poor living conditions, violence, and other many reasons like lack of economic perspectives make people change their country, their location, and move from their native countries to others and even other continents. I'd like to say about some reasons that make people make such an important decision in their life. First of all, I'd like to say about poor living conditions. They still exist in some countries. What I mean, we speak about some vital things for everyone's life. It's about food, land to live, clean water, and possibility to work. There are still some countries that there no possibility to study not even like we do this, even to learn read and write, and other many circumstances that make their life really difficult. I'd also need to say that environment catastrophes have a huge impact on some people's life, and because of that, many people should change their location and sometimes move to another country. Moreover, the population in the world grows really fast. However, the economic development stagnate in some countries. The enormous rate of population growth and the poor perspective for economic development in some regions give rise to tremendous migratory pressure. Thirdly, I'd like to say about violence and abuse of power force people to flee. The term refugee is used to describe people who are persecuted on account of their race, religion, ethnic group, or political conviction. Persons whose freedom or lives are threatened in this sense have a right to protection by foreign countries on the basis of international convenience. There are not so many people who migrate because of this reason, because it's sometimes really difficult to leave your house just because you for example, an LGBT person, and many of people still stay in a country living in which can be really difficult and dangerous for their life. In the end, I'd like to say about willingness to improve your education. Some people migrate from Russia or some not really developed countries, I mean in infrastructure, to educate, for example, in Germany, in USA. And after getting the education, they stay there for the whole life and become a migrant, not because they lived here really bad, just to live better. To sum up, I'd like to say that all these reasons bump into a willingness of people to live better than they were and then their parents lived. As we know, everyone wants to have convenience, to have work, normal wage, and to live better, the best he can. That's all I wanted to say about reasons for migration.
Thank you very much. Обратите внимание, мы говорим, вот у нас другие многие причины, а по-английски many other reasons. Сначала many, а потом other. Вы меня поняли, да? А не наоборот. Many other reasons. Потому что many – это усилитель. Вы меня понимаете, да? А основное сочетание – это other reasons. Вы меня все поняли? Да? Это ко всем относится.
Да.
Вот. Обратите внимание, они наоборот. Это играет роль. Еще, ребята, вот опять-таки everyone. Everyone wants. Несмотря на то, что everyone притягивает there, но тем не менее мы говорим everyone wants to know it. Don't they? И еще последнее, о чем сегодня я уже говорила. Очень аккуратно с глаголом say. Вот если вы хотите сказать, я хочу сказать что-то об этом, тогда say нормально. I want to say something about it. Мне при этом, чтобы сказать вот about после say, нужен всегда посредник. I want to say something, вот something это посредник, about it. Сказать I want to say about it нельзя без предыдущего посредника. Меня понимаете, да? В этом случае вы должны сказать I want to speak about it. Но это равно I want to say it about it. Это ясно?
I want
Да.
to
Итак,
say
I want
it
to
about
say.
it.
Да, смотрите еще раз. I want to say, например, a few words about it. У нас какие метаморфозы? Я могу сказать из этой фразы часть, но она будет такая. I want to say a few words. Все. И второй вариант. I want to say a few words about it. Ну, не все, а вот два варианта. А вот третий вариант. I want to say about it. Мы его зачеркиваем. Это ясно. То есть это будет у нас неправильно с точки зрения выбора глаголов говорения. И теперь у нас идет I want to speak, возможно. I want to speak about it, возможно. I want to speak to you, возможно. Ну, иногда говорят with you, лучше to you. I want to speak at a meeting, выступить на собрании тоже возможно. То есть глагол более универсальный у нас получается. Но сказать I want to speak it with you мы не можем. Правда? I want to speak it with you. Мы же так не говорим. Вот это у нас, это так редко кто говорит. Ну, вот примерно так. А вот say, ну, вот почему-то никак не укладывается. Это как бы всегда stumbling block получается. Вот, ребята, мы тогда на этом заканчиваем. Я вас вот что попрошу. Я открыла вот эту схему. Я вас попрошу, чтобы вот вам какое-то задание дать все-таки на четверг. Вот этот вот, у меня там трек 8, да? Я прошу вас эту страничку одну сделать, да? То есть там идет, нужно предварительное задание расставить там цифры, как вы предполагаете, они должны быть логические. Вы увидите в задании. И второе, прослушать трек 8 и сделать задание. Одно только по аудированию. Договорились? It's for Thursday. Николай так на меня посмотрел строго. Вы поняли меня, да?
Нет, я смотрю на задание и
Да.
пытаюсь понять, что из этого нужно сделать. То есть просто 68-ю
Сейчас еще раз. Сейчас,
страницу,
секундочку.
верно?
Сейчас я еще раз покажу. Сейчас, секунду. Значит, смотрите. Вот у нас здесь вот идет. Ну, она обозначена страничкой так. 68.
Угу.
Вот в эту страничку.
Ну все,
Вот.
то есть ее
Да,
полностью
я
сделать.
имею в виду трек 8, вот он идет.
Да,
И
понятно.
он вам выслан. Я попрошу, это у вас займет совсем мало времени, потому что это играет 2,5, ну, 2, около меньше, чем 3 минуты. Вот это вот, да, идет. Просто это как бы сообщение такое развернутое. Вот это делать не надо, мы потом сделаем с вами это. И вот, это предварительное подготовительное задание. It concerns our conversation about migration. It won't be very hard for you to do it. So thank you very much for your participation. Я вот так время от времени буду кого-то просить студентов, чтобы выступали с каким-то сообщением. Я думаю, что это вот все-таки должно у нас присутствовать как-то, да? Thank you. If you have no questions, if you have, ask me, then we'll stop our lesson. Okay? Bye. See you on Thursday.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. До свидания.